across domains like EDA, healthcare, regulatory systems, consumer electronics, and IT training, with strong skills in tools like FrameMaker, Confluence, and Visio, and a background in instructional design. Deepti's work not only informs, it teaches and empowers. So, Deepti, over to you to host the panel discussion.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rahul. I hope I'm clearly audible.
Yes, you are.
Thank you. And thanks for that sincere introduction. Well, yeah, thank you. Hello, everybody. Welcome you all to the last, not the least segment, the exciting panel discussion on talking about or hearing it from industry stalwarts. That is what I'd like to refer to as my panelists. And I'll be, yes, moderating the panel discussion today. So I'm thrilled, excited, and nervous to guide all of you, the audience included, through the discussion today. Let's together explore not just the promise of AI, but also the practices that are being followed, the challenges and the opportunities which AI brings to our profession. So without much ado, let me start by inviting our panelists. Let me first invite a content design manager at Autodesk with 2 decades of experience transforming legacy docs and now experimenting with AI agents, MCP and IDEs to make writers' lives better and easier. Let's welcome Amandeept Singh Talwar on the virtual podium.
Thank you, Deepti.
Thank you. Our second panelist is a content leader at Razorpay. With 20 plus years of experience, she's currently driving AI-led strategies that have boosted efficiency multifold. And she is also the founder of a global writing community, Writer Talks. Let's welcome Sriparna Saha.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our last, not the least, lovely panelist is a documentation manager at LogicMonitor, who's leading distributed teams. She's championing structured authoring, automation, and AI-driven solutions to scale content and enhance product adoption. Let's welcome Nisha Kadakia Shah. Thank you to all 3 of you for joining us here today. Dear everyone, in this panel discussion today, we'll have 4. Actually, no, 5 5 segments with the 5th one as the audience round or segment. So keep noting down your questions. We'll pick them up for sure. And let me start by engaging you, the audience, first and foremost. Let us drop one emoji in the chat that shows how are you feeling about AI in documentation today, like right now. Let us roll and fill the chat with all kind of emojis, okay? Whether it's fire, a rocket mushrooming upwards, gritting teeth to show you're scared. Let's just fill it out. And the panelists are welcome too. Everybody and anybody. Just throw on, show your heart. Yay, wow, fire, light bulb moments. Yeah, that's true. We need to think through, act nerdy. Yeah, upside down. Life is becoming for us. That's true. And thinking through. Yeah, I was hoping to get more. Yeah, the 4 says it's a win. Lovely. Yeah, that's right. Party time. Okay, and there are people who decide to say, zip up, fingers crossed. Lovely. Right. Ah, yeah, that's a good one, Karthik. Yes, thank you. Thank you, everybody. That sets our mood and takes us into our road ahead. So the first segment is merely about warming up, just to set the stage. Okay. I'll open it with a question which is pertinent to all of us. And I'd like any one of our panelists to start with their take. The question is as simple as we know and we are aware that AI in documentation is moving fast. But can you give me one quick line about how do you feel, or how do you, no, let me not say feel, how do you define AI ready documentation? That's my first question to you. We can start with you, Sriparna.
In my opinion, an AI-ready documentation would be something that AI can easily read, scroll, understand, comprehend, and give out the meaning of it. So if somebody is asking a question related to a particular document on an AI chatbot, the chatbot should be accurately be able to comprehend whatever is written on the document, including the diagrams and images. I know AI is not great at that, but that is what would be an AI-ready documentation like.
Thank you. What about you, Aman? What's your take?
Well, I think we actually have been doing this all this while. I mean, we follow the foundational discipline of writing documentation, which is our content should be structured, semantic, modular, and discoverable. And that's exactly what AI agents want,
Right.
right?
Thank you.
So,
And yeah.
yeah.
And that's a lot of heavy words. We will surely break it down for our audience in the questions that follow. But yes, I'll turn tables to Nisha.
Yeah. So, like, I agree with Sriparna and Aman about the thoughts, how input is required with the AI. But at the same time, it should be somewhere where the user can talk to the AI in their native language and still get the best results without scrolling and looking for a lot of information. So it should be giving accurate information. If there is a system admin trying to install something, it should give step-by-step clear instructions with examples without having the user describe a lot of things there. It should be able to understand. So the AI really understands what you need, and it should be able to serve you with that.
Right. Yes, that's correct. Absolutely. And the word that I catch here is a system admin. So role-based output. Yeah. That's true. Absolutely wonderful. So that takes me to the second question. Let's do a little deep dive here. What are some of the practical things that you as leaders or managers are doing in your team to make documents AI ready? Any one of you can start with that.
I can go first.
Sure, Aman.
Okay. So I can actually talk about my previous life and my current life right now. In my previous life, I've been actually evaluating a lot of AI project run because it was more database and stuff, and now I do more of docs as code, right? So one thing that I think is common and what I've moved on is content optimization. So we are within my team right now we use AI tools to analyze our existing documentation for definitely for clarity, consistency, and adherence to our style guide. So that's where we basically use a lot of AI agents. We also try to use a lot of intelligent search and chatbots. Yes, we have chatbots that basically do a lot of natural language processing to understand if our data, gets us the right amount of results. That's what Nisha was actually talking about. So we even try to do that with like 300-page manual, how you can basically bring it down to lesser documentation, lesser pages. And finally, we actually have been experimenting with AI to also generate initial drafts for simple procedural content like you've got code comments from developers. So how do you basically go ahead and ask developers all the relevant questions as like if that information is already available? So basically the third leg is the productivity boosters for writers. So these are the three areas that I and my team are currently working on and using AI and AI agents heavily.
Right. Thank you. Let's move on to you, Sriparna.
So what we did when we were implementing AI, one was setting up the guidelines. I feel that was super important. to help the team understand what they should and what they should not, and ensuring the review cycles were in place, ensuring compliance is in place. So the first thing I did is, you know, I wrote one document about the entire guidelines to be followed by the entire team, trained them on that. Number one. Number two is I gave them the tools that you go ahead and try it out, and maybe we can fine tune the guidelines further. But with this approach, two things happened. One, the team was very much aware of what they could and what they could not, right? The guardrails were already there. Second is, when they started working on the tools, many of the things we discovered, and we were in a better place to fine tune our strategy. So these two things we started with, and as we progressed, we kept on working on these two things. Yeah.
Okay, and if you may allow me, can we just zoom into the kind of guidelines that you'd set initially, and how have they changed now if you've moved ahead from that starting place?
Yeah, one thing that I can right away think of is we initially, when we were testing with the AI tools, the AI chatbots, right? We realized that they were not great at understanding screenshots, or there is an image. AI chatbot was not great at doing that. Of course, with in couple of months and years, the AI chatbots have also improved. The models have improved. Plus, we also figured out a way that if we supply it the screenshot and then we tell it that you have to read the screenshot, then the chatbots are better placed in answering those questions. So with experiments, with practice, we were able to fine tune our guidelines. So in the first draft of our guideline had, don't give them the screenshots, and then we said, okay, you can provide them the screenshots, but this is how you have to put in your prompts. So these were a couple of learnings.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that information with us. Yes. Over to you, Nisha. Some practical use cases.
Sure. So in the recent times, we've started using the AI chatbot for editorial purposes. So we use ChatGPT. That's a licensed version that we have. And I've also added the style guide, and we have a schema file that is like the acrolinks that we have, similar to that, so that the ChatGPT knows what it needs to refer to it. So like we all know, it needs to be trained. So initially, when we started with our bot, it didn't used to give a lot of good output, because the prompt, like, I really appreciated the fact that when we talked about prompt engineering, because that is really essential when you are training a chat GPT or any chatbot that you're using. So the prompt that we gave initially was quite vague. I think it just used to give some general guidelines about your style guide and everything. And then I realized it needs more refinement. So getting the feedback from the team, the frustrations that they used to send, I think initially people are not really ready to accept AI in their worlds. They find it very, I don't know, rude, or I don't know, it's not very positively taken in the beginning. But then with time, they understand it is just a helper. It's not, giving any instruction that is not, not offending them in any way. But however, whatever feedback we received from them, I worked on more on the engineering part, the prompt engineering part. And today it gives you not only what, the normal guidelines, but it also gives you a reference of table with the pages and the titles of the guideline, the guide that you give, that from where it is referencing, why it is not, correct. It also gives you a feedback summary. It gives you a compliance score, that whether it was grammatically correct, structurally correct. It also tells you whether it was a topic-based authoring, correct format was followed or not. If it was a mixed thing, sometimes it's a legacy document where you're not actually following the topic-based authoring. It'll also tell you that it's not following or adhering to that guidelines. So it is going to give you 0 out of 40 according to your compliance score, and it's going to tell you it's a non-compliant document. So it gives you a perfect summary, which the writers can then paste in their editorial part in the ticket, where we know that they did review it. This is what the score was, and after fixing, what the score came out to be. So we know that they are using it first, and how they are actually the document is then compliant to the style guide or not. And like, I think I asked about the reports that are run to check whether the writers are actually using the chatbot. Are they really complying to the things? They can always use the chatbot and not still fix the errors and say that, oh, we did run through the chat GPT and we published it. So there is another catch that we do. We have weekly reports run for the published articles and the updated articles, which we do audit checks for that, whether they are really compliant or not, because we run it through the chatbot to see whether, is it catching any errors or it's really 100% compliant or not. So that's why we ensure the safety, the quality of the documents that are going out as published. And this not only save the peer review time, because writers are loaded with a lot of work, and we don't have an editor, of course. So that's again, it's safe to a company where you're not having an editor. But the peer review used to take a lot of time. They were not able to publish the article the same day because it used to take 2 to 3 days for somebody to review, get back to you, and then you will publish. So that way we are saving not only some hours, but also because
Yeah.
it is increasing the quality of the work, we save on some dev TS also, the customer tickets also with our chatbot.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's a very smart move, and it'll also. I'm sure your team is on always sitting on their edge, just to make sure. But yes, because we see that fear in adapting to new tools every now and then. In a, I was listening or tuned into a recent podcast, and the interviewee very calmly said, he said, prompts are the new PRDs. So the more we refine them, the better outputs we get. And that's exactly what you brought out. Aman, I would bring the question back to you. I'm really keen on asking you about a lot of things that you are doing, okay, over and above what we just discussed. You're looking at semantic tagging, you're looking at IDEs, right? And I think also experimenting with MCP. Can you briefly throw some light so that the audience who are already in line with or working towards AI ready document, they get a vision into how can they step up?
Totally. Yeah, sure. So chatbots have been into existence for long. I mean,
Yeah.
chatbots are not new. Earlier, chatbots were restricted. I mean, they would only give you response to what you have actually, fed them in. They were like very constrained. But now chatbots are more like, they are free. They kind of like hallucinate a lot. So, when you actually enter something and you don't have those guardrails or those restrictions, boy, you just don't get your answers. However good your prompt is gonna be like. So we went a little step further ahead. So what we did was like we deployed. I mean, I was talking about the ISO standard a little before. So as an organization, we first went with the ISO standard. So the restrictions were done at the very top end, right? So that basically gives you an open canvas. So my writers basically get these tools where they don't have a restriction. The only restriction is at a corporate level. So the information that they work on does not go out of the organization. So they are bounded within a very decent guardrail. Now that also gives them an ability to go ahead and explore further and then create more. I mean, basically helps them generate more better ideas, right? So that's one. Two is like we basically have moved on to IDEs, and good examples of IDEs is Visual Studio Code, Cursor, and then now Claude, right? So these are installable ones, right? So you actually install them. So what have we done is they actually provide you a lot of potential. They interact with the corporately approved AI agents like Claude or Gemini or any of those. So those are AI agents, right? So these IDEs and these AI agents, so they basically kind of like have the interaction. So instead of going to one AI agent and then getting your job done, we now work with the IDE and then then work on the rules, so that based on the requirement, based on what kind of information you're doing, the IDE is clever enough to go ahead and pick or call either Gemini or either Claude, right? So if it is a
Mm.
technical one, it basically calls Claude. If it is like more like e-learning or writing, it basically goes ahead and calls Gemini. And then my team also gets an opportunity to work on extensions, which basically gets added into the IDE. They basically become the power, right? So you basically get to work on your own IDE, which helps you get your job done. And we have a repository where we all share that information so that others can pick that up, configure it, and then get their job done. So that's the next that's the second era. And then the new era is MCPs. So MCP is like the USB-C port. I remember sharing an article as well some time back. So it's like that C port can actually be used for power, it can be used for data sharing, it can be used for music, playing music or sharing anything, right? That's what MCP is all about. So when you give a prompt to an agent, you basically do only one, thing, right? You're basically asking, hey, write a letter. Okay, so it's basically writing a letter. And then the next thing is it actually asks you more questions and probing. But with MCP, it actually has a set of tools, right? It basically, let us say you want Jira, you have a Jira ticket, you have a wiki page where you have a draft, and then you have a code repository where you actually have your code. Now, there are three things that one prompt should basically go and find information, right? So MCP basically comes in as an interface which basically can talk to these three tools with only one single query, which is says, hey, help me understand this. Okay, and then find if there's a Jira ticket, if there's a wiki article, and also identify if there's a code repository. So the MCP takes this natural language query, pushes it out to three tools, gather the information, and then consolidates it and gives it back to you. So now your job is done because you now are interacting. You've not sent three different prompts, you just sent one prompt. So that's what is happening right now in the industry. And even this is going faster. So now you will actually have something which is coming from Google, which is called agent to agent. So now the days are when you basically will initiate an agent, which will then go ahead and call another agent, and they'll both do the talking, and then come back and tell you, yeah, your reservations are done. So you just basically tell an agent, hey, get my reservation, find the cheapest place, but yet I need a five-star hotel, and these are my requirements. And that will do all its job, get back, gets the reservation done, and comes back to you. So that is happening right now. So there's a lot happening every day. Yeah, it's scary, but yet it's very exciting. So I strongly recommend that we should actually all keep exploring and then see how this can help us and this community in special.
Right. So, just a follow-up question which just popped. So, how do you keep up with such advanced news? Are there, so while we are speaking, if panelists, you or the audience has some takeaways or some, let's say, some podcast references or some blogs that help you stay abreast the industry news, especially related to tech writing, to AI, and this space, please do share it in your chat. It'll be beneficial to everyone and one and all is what I see. Right. And just curious to know, Nisha, Aman, and Sriparna, that the kind of innovation that is happening within your organization, are you guys pushing or pumping up your tech writing team, or are you leveraging maybe third-party vendors or external uh, teams to get this innovation into place?
So, if I have to start with, so we are not using any third-party vendors. We are educating our or upskilling our writers. We are asking them or encouraging them to, upscale themselves for AI tools. And we also intend, like we started with letting them know to do certain certifications that would help them, like for starters, the prompt engineering. I think when this AI thing started, we didn't know the direction to go through because there were so many things in the market. You need to know ChatGPT or any AI tool or whatever. But then after reading a lot, I realized for anything, you need a basic understanding. Like even if you think the icing on the cake is good and icing could be different, but you need to have a cake. And I think the cake is prompt engineering. If you do not know prompt engineering, no matter what tool you're using, is going to give you bad output. So I think we need our basics first in place, and then we figure out what tools we need and how we can,
Yeah.
Enhance in that field. So
Yeah, but
I
you're pushing your team to get into that. Lovely. What about you, Aman?
Totally. I mean, we don't have third party. It's my tool. I'm sorry, it's my team, which basically works on
They
everything. So
become your tool. Yeah.
they
Your
are they are they are tools themselves, right? I mean, they
yeah,
are
yeah,
actually continuously growing. So there's a
yeah.
concept called let us all become T-shaped professionals. Now, I'm not
Yes.
sure if you basically have heard this, but the T is the vertical bar and the horizontal bar. So we basically try to look at, so for the vertical bar basically is the deep expertise. So we need to draw a line and then go as deeper as possible. And then the horizontal bar is the knowledge. So we all need to share our knowledge. So we have TechX talks, we have forums where we continue to basically share this information. As I've told you, like the extensions are all available in public repository, and then we share videos. Videos is very much that we encourage. So the people record demos and then they share it out as to how things work, so you can clone the repository and get things running. So I think we work
Awesome.
mostly in the
Yeah.
T-shaped format. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Why I especially ask this question is because so that as a community we feel wanted, we feel that we have a growth path in front of us where where we can explore and probably meet our aspirations, because that's the the field side of being tech writers. Sriparna, anything different that is happening at your end?
Yeah, so what we are doing at Razorpay, we are doing a mix of things. So, of course, we have our own systems, our own AI agents, and all of that the techies are building there. Apart from that, we're also exploring whatever is available in the industry, in the market, right? I think every other day something new is popping up in the AI world. So we are going and checking them and seeing what value they can add. And there are many times we are taking inspiration from them, in fact, and building a few of those in-house. So it's a combination of things. For example, very recently we have started using an AI-based video generation tool, which is basically a vendor that we have started using. At the same time, we were also evaluating another vendor for something else, primarily for sending out notifications. And we figured out that we could perhaps build that, and we have built that in-house. So we are, like I said, we are doing a combination of things. Yeah,
Yeah,
the objective is to
awesome.
move faster, because there are
Exactly.
times
That's
you
true.
cannot spend a lot of time building tools in-house because, of course, infra is required. There's also a cost involved, right? So just go
Absolutely.
whatever works best.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah. So we have to make hay while the sun shines. So, okay. A quick audience engagement question here. So, and I want everybody to participate. So, if I say AI plus docs, okay, what's the first word that comes to your mind? Just type it out in the chat box. If I say AI plus docs, what's the first word that comes to your mind? Speed. Wow. Game
Lot of
changer.
review.
Lot of review. Okay. Reliability. Yes. I kind of need the shoulder of reliability and call it trust. Yeah. Workload. Too much to verify. Absolutely too much to verify. Yeah. That's where the new pain point is. Quality. Absolutely. Yes, and I think all these words are making a headway for me into our segment number 2, all right, which is about user experience in AI era. Yes, collaboration, absolutely. Absolutely. So I'll start off the second segment from the word user itself, okay? Documentation has always been about user trust, right? They've always gone back to documents when they've found themselves in trouble. But with AI, we've heard about terms like hallucinations. What are those common guidelines or frameworks that you guys are following to make sure that AI does not compromise on that user experience? Some guidelines or frameworks that help you ensure that AI doesn't compromise on user experience. Let's start with you, Sriparna, this time.
Sure. So what we do is we work on PRDs, right? We are working on a new, fresh article. So first, we have to ensure whatever PRD we are feeding in, it is accurate. In most cases, it is not, right? A lot of things go in the last minute and they don't get updated within the docs. So we have to ensure that whatever we are feeding in is accurate if we want, the first draft to come out of a chatbot. So that's important. The source has to be absolutely correct to get the right answers or the right output rather. So reviews are super important. I think that's why I have put it up also in the chat that reviews are super important. Make sure that you are doing reviews even before you're feeding in information to the chatbot, and after the output comes in, make sure you go through it. Hands-on approach again continues to be a very strong point in our documentation lifecycle, just to ensure whatever we are talking, whatever we are writing on our docs, it actually does that. Be it the steps, be it the features, be it whatever we are talking about, it is accurate. right? So these are the few things we definitely have to make sure they are done in the right manner. And the language and all, again, for example, we follow a certain way of writing things. Although we have guidelines, we do share those guidelines when we send out the prompts, but AI being AI, we know it hallucinates and it doesn't always follows the rules. So we have to make sure we are, again, doing a proper check of things so that, we are adhering to the guidelines. So I think reviews become super, super critical if we want AI results to come out properly. Otherwise, it can create a havoc.
And when you say reviews, you essentially mean reviews by a human. So human in loop stays absolutely relevant.
Totally. And also we have seen with the prompts also, we keep on fine tuning our prompts to make sure that, we are getting the right results. So I think that's also important. You cannot just sit on top of one prompt and consider that, okay, it's going to do the job. No, it's not going to do the job. And also, for example, when it comes to the type of documents we build, certain AI models are great with with API documentation. Certain agents are great with product documentation. So based on what kind of document you're creating, we also change our chatbot agents. So I think that's also important, the chatbots. Yeah.
Right. Sure. So what about you, Aman? Any frameworks or guardrails?
Yes. So definitely. I mean, as I mentioned, right, the very first guardrail is to make sure that your information is not exposed. So that's definitely there. The second one is, depending on the tool or the agent that you work on, there could be either a schema file or a rules file. So, my team and I, we basically work on, making sure that the rules are strong enough. And then, of course, the validation files. Earlier we had Whale, and then, in Oxygen we use schematons, but now we are moving those Whales, entries into the rules file, which is basically a markdown file. It kind of like goes on really well with Cursor. So we kind of like make sure that it actually has a container, a very strong container, possibly made out of lead, so that when we drop the uranium, which is our natural language query, they the rays are not exposed, and then you basically get the nuclear energy that you expect rather than losing the energy elsewhere. So that those are, I mean, these are specific to organization, I would actually say, and to the tools that you use. But in all cases, I'm pretty sure that there is a need for such containers and validations for sure.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Boundaries are important.
They are.
Yeah, absolutely. Nisha, your take, if
Yeah, so I agree with both of them. You have to have the guidelines in place. Like we said, we have a style guide, we have the rules where we make it more strict, and you cannot stick to the same prompt. Like she said, that you have to keep refining and iterating so that you know that it's not hallucinating and it is still giving the desired output. So I agree with both of them. This is absolutely what we follow.
Right. So this makes me move to our next question in this segment, which is now, it's just out plain and simple. We say that documents are no longer portals. So how do you see the delivery of documents evolving or being redefined in this new era?
Shall I go first?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I'm very excited about seeing the change in the documentation. It's no more static, I would say. It is more of conversing and it is interactive. So I no longer have to search through the documents. I think sooner the documents are going to be like you do Google. And we love doing Google searches, right? We just want to ask a question and it should give you the desired output. I think ChatGPT in our personal life also, we love it. We ask some questions and it'll give you really good answers with it. So I think our docs are going to be the same. You ask something, it not only gives you what you asked, but more options that would you like to know something more about this feature, or would you like to know something that is compatible with this feature to give you more advanced output of what you're looking for. And I think that is what the users are going to like, and I really am looking forward for that kind of platform that we are heading to. No more of only reading through and scanning through pages, but you can actually converse with the chat, with the agent and get answers.
Sure. Thank you. So, Aman, how do you see the delivery? Do you see it like an entire ecosystem, or how do you visualize the delivery of documentation?
Totally. I mean, it's the entire ecosystem that's actually bound to change. I'll give you an example, right? So within the current responsibility that I have, we have this whole API docs that we push. Now, these have been traditionally very like a read only kind of documents that you would basically go through. I mean, they are all, most of them are auto generated. The narrative is something that the writers actually work on. So these are two different pieces. So one of them is coming from the code, the other one is documented elsewhere. So one thing that we are actually trying to do is connect these dots together so that the narrative knows what is happening in the code and vice versa, and they are not two different pieces. So that's definitely one thing that the IDEs are doing right now. The second thing is we are moving more towards having practical approach. So even in the help, we are trying to see if we can actually introduce AI or AI agents which can help developers generate a working example based on the API information that's provided in the documentation. It is tricky, let me tell you that, because again, constraining that AI to you know training that agent is something that needs a lot of work, which is what is happening right now. And the third is, I think this is now an era of dialogue, right?
Mm.
I mean, gone are the days when this is monologue. It's like you telling the user, do this, do that. No, that's all gone. And an excellent example that I actually put together, I mean, we've been doing a lot of research that I've come across is, I'm not sure how many of you ever know about Lovable, which is basically a platform. It is UI UX friendly. So if someone asked if I strongly recommend go to that platform, look into their docs, and their documentation is now dialogue based. That basically means that you don't actually see instructions. They basically put a prompt, there's an icon, click on it, and it actually tells you or does the job for you, right? And I think that's a path forward. So now you should basically think more like someone who's actually having the dialogue with an agent, more like, oh, how are you going to do that, rather than going through all the old book stuff where you say one, do this, two, do this. That's gone.
Yeah, that's right. I think probably I was reading somewhere they said delivery of documentation is moving from destination to becoming an experience. And that's exactly what a dialogue brings to us. Shriparna, I will take you to my next segment. And I'll start by asking you a question about challenges and future roadmap. Uh, what do you think is the most common struggle that we as writers shared in adopting AI?
I think it's the mental thing. It's more to do with our psyche, the kind of threats we feel whenever there's a new technology coming in. And I think we are all touched by it. I won't be, I don't want to go beyond or above anyone. I think I'm also part of the same group. I'm sure we all are. So I think that's one. Where I think it's with any. I think if you look at any kind of change for that matter, it's very difficult to introduce any change. Even if you want to put up a new process, that's difficult. Now we are talking about AI, which is going to automate so many things, which is kind of smarter than us. And obviously, there are a lot of questions in our mind that is it going to take away our jobs? And it's there everywhere. You go to any social media post, it is we are getting that that question popping up. So I think that's very strong and prominent. We have to first answer that. The second is the technology part of it. The moment we think of learning something new,
Mm.
especially with people who are already having 10 years, 15 years of experience, for them to, they have learned, RoboHead, they have learned data, and now AI. So, and AI is just not one tool, it's like a bunch of tools. So there's lot of intense learning. So I guess one is the mindset, second is the learning. These are the two difficult curves that we are all going through. And that's the biggest challenge. And the
Right.
third I would also say is, there's a lot of things going around in the industry today, a lot of vagueness, right? Things are not very clear. There's no clarity on many accounts, right? Even if today there is let's say, a layoff happening, maybe because of reorganization, but we just put a stamp that, oh, AI has come, it's taking away the jobs. Maybe it has nothing to do with AI. So I think these are the two, three things which is playing around in the industry today and creating this
Right.
confusion and hence the
Yeah.
challenge.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Aman, if I were to ask you, what could be your pieces of advice in overcoming these challenges for our writer community?
Okay, so my advice always had been to myself as well is if I fear from something, I need to run towards it rather than against, opposite to it, right? And it's true. I mean, it's true. I mean, when AI came in, that was my biggest fear, right? It's like how, I mean, am I gonna be irrelevant? But no, right?
Mm,
I mean, I know there is something that I've gained experience for. I know that I can understand a user's frustration. I can have a dialogue with them. That's the empathy part. I know that I can actually, come up with a better strategy than the AI because I understand my audience much better. I understand my colleagues much better. And then I also know that I can come up with some creative solutions. So I can, I
yeah,
mean, so AI can give you responses to what you ask. But then what about something that, you ask it to develop? No, it actually fails there. It's very robotic,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So three core values, right? Empathy, strategy, and creativity. Yeah, and then of course the fact that you should be running towards your fear basically is going to help you because at the end of the day, let us remember we are all humans. We all have unique human values that we carry.
absolutely,
No tool in the market today or ever can replace a human that easily, right? Um,
absolutely.
think of a good example here is ADAS. So, you know, ADAS came into picture. It is like, I mean, it actually gives you that additional security. I mean, some vehicles even actually become automated because of ADAS, right? And they say, yeah, it's an ADAS vehicle. I mean, take for that matter of fact, Tesla. It goes automatic, but I was actually talking to someone the other day, and it was like, there was a left turn, and the Tesla actually took the left turn, which was not supposed to be doing that. And then the individual has to take control of the vehicle, right? so
Yeah,
so it is still the individual who basically has to take control of it. It's just a matter of when
absolutely.
you take the control and how confident you feel. So don't worry, no one is going to take your job. No one
Yeah,
is
yeah.
going to take away the empathy,
Thank
strategy, and
you.
creativity
Yeah, I
as
think
humans
that's
we
what
have.
everybody, yeah, possibly wanted to hear. And I'll quickly share. I love this expanded form of the word fear, which says face everything and rise. So
Yeah.
don't run away, just stand up and rise. Which brings me to the last question for you, Nisha, in this segment. Um, we have a lot of new joiners in this community. Any one piece of I don't want to use the word advice again, but okay, let us talk about it, a skill that they should or must work on so that they stay in this AI augmented future. One skill.
So I think I would say that go through your AI, explore the AI tools, go through prompt engineering, which is really nice, required, because I'm sure we are all are doing our basic skills of technical writing. We know what it is, everything is great. But in this era, we need to be, staying ahead with what is there in the market today. So do prompt engineering, explore the various tools, AI related tools that, we have shared in this sessions. They're great with great examples, which tools you can use where. And
Mm,
I understand not all free tools would give you the best thing, but there, when you are doing prompt engineering, like from my personal experience, I would say I did it through the I think Coursera, the Google prompt engineering thing. It also gives you a platform where you can play. Like you can, open the Gemini platform. You can actually do the prompt engineering practically with them with the normal basic instructions like planning a trip or anything, how well you can, make your prompts better to get a
yeah,
good output. So those are
yeah,
the things
that's a
you
good way
should
to
do,
practice.
yes, in your
Absolutely.
free time,
Yeah.
whenever you get. If you want to
Mm,
stay today ahead, do not fear AI. Like Aman said, accept it, run towards it, explore it more, love it. And if you love it, you are going to, love to explore it. So that is my advice to all the new
absolutely.
joiners.
Thank
To
you. Thank you. That's a brilliant, yeah, brilliant piece. And the skill is learning to get your prompts right, your PRDs, if I may use that word here. All right. Thank you so much. With that, let's open up the floor for audience question. I already see a raise of hand. Puneet, you can go ahead, unmute, turn on your video.
Yeah,
Feel free.
I'm sorry, I'll not be turning on my video.
No
Uh,
problem.
Sure. One very pertinent question I had was, now since almost all of us are already experienced, so we have technical writing background, and we kind of have understood using AI of how we are ready to do it. Now, you as leaders, I would just like advise on the current crop that is coming. Okay, they are AI ready. How do you
Mm.
make sure that you actually tell them what you need in terms of technical writing? Because a lot of times what happens is that, okay, this is, you're already using it, this has given me the answer, why wouldn't you want to take it? Or how do you merge both the things there, if I am able to say that correctly? Because the current crop is totally AI ready. What we had a problem is not a problem with them, but the problem is different as to how do you write. Maybe the thinking ability is not there because they've been using AI for so long that they just ask the questions and get the answers.
I
So,
would like to answer that.
sure.
Yep.
So Puneet, in fact, that would have been my answer if I was asked the question in the last round. I still feel, whatever tools come in, we have to ensure we have our basic tech writing skills in place. If your foundation is great, any tool, any technology comes in, you will be able to survive. So my advice to people who are joining in on, and my answer to Puneet's question is also the same, that they have to ensure they understand the audience well. They have to understand how they write procedures, how they write integrations, how they write APIs. So those are non-negotiable skills. They have to know how to collaborate, right? If they don't know these things, they have to know how they do a thorough end to end, word by word, line by line review. They have to understand how to do strategies, how to plan their work. So these are non negotiable skills, and I bunched them together as the basic tech writing skills. If you don't
Absolutely.
have these,
Fundamentals.
you will
Yes,
Yeah.
never be able
absolutely.
to survive.
Absolutely agree
Yeah.
with that. Uh, the only additional point here I would like to make is they are already AI ready. When I said that, what I meant was they have been so used to using AI tools for
Mm.
whatever they have. Okay, so at that point in time, it becomes a little difficult to actually give them that cognition of why is this needed. So
Mm.
that is what I was looking at. Maybe a plan at where do you kind of amalgamate both of those things and make it clear. Because a lot of times what happens is uh, you know that they are right, but at the same time proving to them as to why this could be wrong becomes a little difficult.
Mm.
So that is what a plan towards training the new members towards using AI in terms of how you envisage it.
So you
Okay.
mean that there is resistance and overcoming that resistance. Is
Yes,
that
yes,
correct?
yes, yes.
Right. Yes.
Okay, I'll just add a point to here, and then Puneet, I'll mention that there's nothing wrong. Nothing is wrong. It's just a different way,
Correct,
right?
correct.
So basically, when someone, and let's talk about me, right? So when I go to my manager and then say, I think this is a great solution, the next question that comes out is, okay, I totally agree that this is a great solution. What was it that you actually were trying to resolve with this solution, right? So I think now, as I mentioned, right now, gone are the days when your manager would just tell, or you would just go ahead and tell your manager. Now it's all dialogue. It's like you need to be prepared as to like what the goal was. Why do you think that this basically works out, and how is it actually gonna save not just your time, or maybe your team's time? I have seen excellent ideas coming out of my team, and that's exactly what we want. So we want people not just to learn about AI, but we also want them to explore. And if we shut their ideas right to the point where we say you're wrong, done. That's like just not gonna happen. So
Exactly.
so it's always a dialogue, and sometimes, you know what, it based out of that dialogue, you will actually come to know that the other person would say, I think you just gave me another good idea, so let me go back and then try and work on it, and then come back to you and then see if we can actually fix this, right? So I would strongly recommend that. I encourage, I totally collect, because see, the models are very well trained in the languages that we want. whether it's UK English, whether it is US American English, they are very well trained, or any other language for that matter of fact. It's just a matter that the statements that these models put out look so robotic. They look
Mm.
so much AI generated that you really need that value addition from a writer, right? So a writer, when he comes back with only AI related information, you basically will go ahead and then say, hey, this looks a little bit dry. How about more like dry and literal? How about you go back and then try to explain the goal, maybe include some screenshots, maybe put a short video, or maybe also go ahead and add some common ideas or additions that can be done, and come back and let's look into this. So basically, the point here is whatever comes out of AI, make it more human. I mean, let it go through a human brain. Make sure that it becomes a complete story rather than a very literal text, and then go ahead and push it. I mean, I don't see a reason why that idea cannot be published. It's just a matter that you want to encourage writers to also be a part of that process rather than just take
Absolutely.
the AI tool.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Take them on your
Sure.
side. Yeah. And
Thank
we're
you.
anyways part of the same team. Yeah. Thank you for that question. Any other questions? I saw one question, and probably this can be one last question that we'll take in the interest of time. Okay. So, yeah, Preeti, one question. Is it about continuous learning roadmap that the panelists would like to suggest?
Yes. What continuous learning roadmap would you suggest for long-term continuous learning?
Yeah, a continuous learning roadmap. Any one of you think?
I think, yeah. So, like we've always said, that we have to keep learning. Like, even we as managers or leaders, we also keep learning to be ahead in the market, right? So,
Yeah,
the map would be, go through all the courses that you can. I would not say all, but at least start with the best of your prompt engineering and then the AI related tools. Don't stick to one thing. Okay, I did prompt engineering, I did something with ChatGPT, I'm done with it. No, I think AI is vast. And like, I think to Puneet's question, when he said that, if there is something that is guidelines given in the company, what should we adhere only to that? No, keep your brain open, mind open, because you don't know what initiative can change a lot of things. Simple things like even the review tool, when we think, it actually saves your 5 business days, which is impacting a lot to the company. It could be a smallest idea using the AI that could help the team, the business. So do not stick only to the guidelines that has been given to you. When you're learning things in the market, you also apply those in your real world examples in
yeah,
your office, and it really benefits you. So I think learning is continuous, and you always have to learn. I started as a commerce background, I'm in tech writing, I've always been learning. So like I
yeah.
did IT, I am doing again something with IA. So I would say learning never stops. Do not stop learning.
Absolutely, absolutely. Learning never stops. That's the biggest takeaway that we have, and especially if we're in the IT field. Well, thank you, everyone, especially to the panelists. We've had a lovely time. I'm sure the audience got a glimpse of what should be their future roadmaps. What is it, or where do they need to start? And if the audience could run on their emojis once again to let us know if something has changed their mindset, and they want to use different emojis, while I just call the panel discussion to a close, and I think hand over the virtual podium to our wonderful hosts of today, Rahul, Preeti, and Yash. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you.